So Taurus, your week commencing the 4th of August forecast sees Mars, the planet of action, move into the part of your scope that's to do with your physical world. So anything to do with routines, work, your responsibilities and obligations, the energy and drive of Mars can be a big support for you over the next 6 weeks. But what Mars may do initially is bring up a situation that you've been toiling with for some while, and it may be to do with your energy. Even if it's your emotional or psychological energy, which is felt a bit beneath the optimum level, it's probably because of Chiron, Saturn and Neptune all in retrograde in your 12th house. So as much as you may set yourself some kind of very virtuous workout program to walk more steps, to get on the exercise bike, to be a bit more frugal about your portion sizes, I wouldn't overdo it at the heart of this week. Let your energy or the desire to make some changes just build up a little bit more slowly, because I feel if you rush it this week, it's not necessarily going to be for the best. Now, of course, Mercury does continue its retrograde for now through to the 11th, the following Monday from the start of this one. So when it comes to your home, emotional and family situation, the potential for crosswires is there. We've also had the Cazimi, so it's also the case you may have done some thinking or had quite a powerful conversation as last week came to a close, and that may have given you food for thought. But something that perhaps you've not wanted to address may be what Mars moving into the 6th house does bring up, particularly if you find there's a colleague, a line manager, who's a bit critical or picky about your performance but isn't quite getting where you are at the present time. Now, if you're not feeling completely satisfied as far as your work is concerned, Mars is linked to Uranus in the part of your chart to do with everyday money, your values and the foundations of your life, but also Pluto high in the sky in your sector of work and your connection to the wider world suggests that this could be a time to make a change if you're not feeling fulfilled. So if the energy or the energetic exchange for where you're very conscientious doesn't feel very appreciated or well received, I think for some Taurus people you may find yourself wanting to go for a new target, but just give yourself to the end of this week for Mars to truly get away from the opposition to Saturn and Neptune, because I feel if you pile too much pressure on yourself at the heart of this week, it could be a little bit too much to fit in. Now by Saturday we have that full moon, so once again your connection to the world is much to the fore, but also your feelings can be very much more close to the surface. And if there is someone close to you, a family member, who you still don't feel is really recognising what you're saying, it's not about conversations, is it? It's about comprehension. But the good news is that your ruler Venus is creeping towards an exact alliance with the planet of fortune, and of course Venus is also a fortunate planet, and they start to align as this week draws to a close. So even if you are encountering some frustration, if someone does seem resistant to your ideas, perhaps even your charm, just know that your word power is going to be blessed in such a gorgeous way from the end of this week, and it will peak next week in one of the most gorgeous alliances possible. So frustration can be a factor for many of us this week, and the frustration for you could be if the demands upon you are really weighing you down and making you feel weary and a bit exhausted. But also know, as Mars moves forwards, triggering with Uranus and Pluto, if you're open to doing something different, which is not always easy for Taurus people, although Uranus has given you a lot of encouragement in recent years, as has Pluto in your 9th house, solar house in Capricorn, to be more open to different approaches. I just feel by the end of this week, if you do need to make a change, but you also need to share it and to discuss it with others, you'll be able to do it in a really quite a lot more effective way.